Week 3 of the Alliance of American Football is in the books. In this video, I'm going to bring you stats, scores, and some of my favorite highlights of each of the games. In the first game this week, the Salt Lake Stallions defeated the Arizona Hotshots 23-15. With that win, the Stallions officially got their first win of the season, and their record improves to 1-2 as the Hotshots get their first loss of the season, and their record falls to 2-1. Next week, Salt Lake will take on Orlando, and Arizona will take on Atlanta. As far as the offensive stats, Josh Woodrum led the Stallions with 178 passing yards. Joel Balgnom led the team with 45 rushing yards, followed by Brendan Oliver with 40 rushing yards. And leading the team with receiving yards was DeMornay Pearson with 90 yards. For the Hotshots, John Wolford led the team with 127 passing yards. Jarrell Presley had 34 rushing yards. And for receiving, Rashad Ross had 51 yards, followed by Thomas Duarte with 41, and Marquise Bundy with 40. Okay, guys, those are the scores and the stats for that game, and now some of the highlights.
Fourth down and 2 as they hand the ball back inside to Bogio. Tackle in the backfield continues on second effort. So 3rd and 4 for Woodrum. 180. He finds the slant over the middle of the football field. That's Pearson L breaking a tackle. Touchdown Stallions. 24 yards on the reception. And Salt Lake is opening up here early in the second quarter.
They're down to really pile on to the lead that they already had.
Austin Rico with a punt. Chosen not to be fielded. And is that Ross with the ball? He gets outside all the way to the right sideline and near midfield. Seconds now in the first half as Wolford throws a dart inside to Rashad Ross. Touchdown. Hotshots, a pickup of 1. Open up play from the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Intercepted. That's Greer Martini who picks it out of the air. The intended wide receiver over the middle.
In the second game of the week, the Orlando Apollos defeated Memphis Express 21-17. With this win over Memphis, the Orlando Apollos are now 3-0 and one of the 2 undefeated teams in the league, the other team being Birmingham. These 2 teams are actually going to face each other in week 5, so definitely looking forward towards that game. Memphis, however, is now 0-3 and is yet to win a game along with the Atlanta Legends. Next week, Orlando will play the Salt Lake Stallions, and Memphis will play the San Diego Fleet. Okay, here are some of the stats for both teams. Garrett Gilbert led the Apollos with 207 passing yards. Dearness Johnson had 79 rushing yards, followed by Devian Smith with 52, and the quarterback, Garrett Gilbert, with 43 yards. As for receiving, Rennell Hall had 68 yards, followed by Charles Johnson with 53 and Scott Orndorff with 41. And for Memphis, Zach Menenberger had 120 passing yards, Sherman Beatty had 59 rushing yards, and Devin Lucien and Dantes Bird both led the team with 51 receiving yards each. Okay, here are my favorite plays from the game. Enjoy.
Offensive coordinator. Oh, that's a go down the left sideline. Oh, what a catch! Dantes Bird near mid. For Stacy, a legit NFL back. Now Hackenberg on the design roll. Hackenberg throws back to Bobby, and he gets picked. It's Terrence Garvin, who had a pick 6 week 1. Garvin lowers his shoulder. Then a little guy, Howard in motion, they go handed to him. And how about Stacy running? No, and Beatty, I beg your pardon. That's some strong running for the guy that just signed this week. You got it, Arkansas talking to his own line. Mettenberger avoids the rush. Mettenberger throws for the pylon, and it is caught with a flag. Lucien has a touchdown for now. Going to start at the 25-yard line. Gilbert back up in the air, tipped her out. Oh, and caught somehow. Oh my! On this drive, and they get it with Gilbert right up. They're going to do it with the quarterback on the ground again, and he's into the end zone.
And for the third game of the week, the Birmingham Iron defeated the Atlanta Legends 28-12. The Iron remains undefeated and is now 3-0. This loss puts Atlanta at 0-3, officially making them worse than Nathan Peterman's chances of starting on an NFL team again. Bravo. Next week, Birmingham will play the San Antonio Commanders, and Atlanta will play the Arizona Hotshots. Here are some of the stats for the game. For Birmingham, Luis Perez had 160 passing yards, Trent Richardson had 46 rushing yards, and Quinton Patton led the team with 58 receiving yards. As for Atlanta, Matt Sims actually led the league in passing yards with a whopping 327. He also led his team with 27 rushing yards. And leading the team with receiving yards was Shontavious Jones with 72, followed by Malachi Jones with 58, and Mantel Crockett with 47.
Sims taking a shot, got a man out there, and Sims drops it and back in there, and they feed the beast. Richardson right up the gut into the end zone. Trent Richardson gets rid of it in a hurry, and wrong miscommunication. Jamar Summers.
And for the last game of the week, the San Diego Fleet destroyed the San Antonio Commanders 21-11. The Fleet are now 2-1 and will play the Memphis Express next week. The Commanders are now 1-2, and next week they're going to play the Birmingham Iron. Here are some of the stats for both teams. For the Fleet, Philip Nelson led the team with 193 passing yards. Jaquan Gardner had 122 rushing yards, followed by Terrell Watson with 73. Nelson Spruce had 50 receiving yards. Logan Woodson led the Commanders with 151 passing yards. Trey Williams had 75 rushing yards, and Mikhail McKay had 91 receiving yards. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Enjoy the rest of the highlights, and leave a like.
Nelson going to the air on the first play of the game, looking deep up the left side. First throw, first interception of the game. Devontae Bowsby picks him off. 3 good running backs on this team. Fakes them. End around here. He's looking deep right off the bat. Has a man. Touchdown, San Antonio. First pass of the game. 47-yard score for McKay.